Hello once again, this is Joanna. Welcome to your March readings. I have a couple of announcements, so this intro is going to be slightly longer, but there's good stuff here. Number one, first and foremost, thank you so much for watching, for coming back, for listening, for liking, for subscribing. For those of you who have booked a reading with me, thank you so much. You know who you are. I appreciate it from the bottom of my heart. March readings are different in a way that I have been asked to use completely different cards. I've never used them before. I actually bought them about 12-15 years ago when I was going through a pretty challenging time, and I kind of like them. I never in my life thought I was going to do these readings, certainly not on YouTube or live, or readings in general. And I was told very clearly to use these cards. Now, they have no numbers, they have no meanings, they have no symbology, they have nothing other than art in order to inspire certain emotion, to evoke certain feeling, and to prompt an intuition or intuitive prompting. In my case, it also starts the process of information flowing from my guides as far as feeling, hearing, and seeing and knowing. So I will show you these cards. They're called soul cards. There is soul cards. This is the first one, and I believe there's a soul cards 2. And you'll see, just like in this vision, there is nothing. There's no numbers. So the card will show up like this, and it'll evoke a certain feeling, image, words, and often a certain phrase that I will hear. So what I do with these cards is I hold them up to the screen so that you can look at them and see what emotion is evoked within you. Always listen to your intuition. Just because your interpretation is different than mine does not make mine or yours wrong or right. It simply means your information may be in addition to what I'm saying or instead of. So always listen to your intuition. I was very timid starting with these cards. I wasn't sure how I was going to like it. It's because there is no parameters. Mind you, I'm not one that fits within certain categories, so it's actually should have been no surprise to me that I would really like them, because the moment I started the first reading, I actually loved them. I loved the energy. I loved how it was just so easy for me to hear. It was just an instant flow. I wasn't bogged down by any numbers, any dates, any wording. It was there's nothing for me to interpret. It was just pure information flow. So I hope you like them. Please let me know, and maybe I will keep this for a while, or until my guide tells me to go and do something else, which is what he always does. And I just kind of go, okay, you know what you're doing, and I just follow. It's called trust. Now, the other thing is exciting, that on March 20th, I'm going to be debuting my very first radio show. That is March 20th, which is a Monday. It's going to happen every other Monday at 7 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. This show is going to be live. It is going to be archived, and I will post this also on my YouTube channel, so you can also listen to it afterwards. When it's live, some of the sessions will have a component of me doing a reading live, so you can call in, or doing a reading with somebody else so that you guys can call in. On Monday, my first show, I will be interviewing a lady, a phenomenal soul. Her name is Stephanie, and we're going to talk everything inspirational, and also everything, not creation, yes, but manifesting. So we will talk about her story. She's just super funny and just amazing. And we will talk everything about manifesting. We might even take a caller or two live to give free readings or whatever it happens to be at the time. Point is, I would encourage you to listen to it, because the show is for you. When Spirit asked me to do the show, and I said, what the heck for? It was very clear to me that my work, however it's going to transpire, is something that you have been asking for, maybe not in a specific way, through me. And the show is all about empowering and inspiring people. And this is going to be done through messages from Spirit, information that I have gone through and interviewing different individuals who have inspiring stories. So what I would like to do is I would like to ask you to send me your ideas about what it is that you would like to see on the show. So send me an email. That information is down below for you, with a subject line radio show idea. And every time I implement the idea live, I will mention your name unless you ask me not to. So since this is for you, it only makes sense that I include and involve you in this process as much as possible. And I also think it's going to be fun. It's going to be, certainly when I use your ideas and you hear it, I think it just creates a certain involvement and an inclusivity, and I always want to be as inclusive as possible. And I think that's all I have. I don't want to talk too much because it's already way longer intro than any other intro, but I hope you can appreciate what it is that I was trying to say. Of course, these are general readings. If you would like more readings, I have videos on Vimeo for very small fee, and some of those are projections for 6 months, some of those are projections for 3 months for relationships, and I have those links included down below as well. Without further ado, let's get started with March reading. Thank you so much for watching, for liking, as always. And if you would like to contact me privately, that information is also down below. And I will see you in a moment. Stay tuned. Hello, sign of Scorpio. This is going to be your messages for the month of March. I have 4 cards laid down. Before I turn them over, when I was meditating on you, when I was shuffling my cards, I heard the message adventure. So it sounds to me like for most of you, some of you, most of you, the month of March is going to prove to be one of an adventure, and we'll dive deeper into what the adventure is, whether it is an adventure within yourself, adventure outside of you, or the world around you. But the energy I feel overall in the month of March for you, Scorpio, is very light. And that is not necessarily the energies I felt in other signs. So there's a lot of changes going on, a lot of cleanup going on with other signs. So let's see what we have. I also see the number 4. 4 is the number of stability. Aside from the number 4 in April, maybe you connect with either or, but 4 to me is a number of stability. It is about structure. It is about foundations, clearing old new stuff in order to set forth a brand new, stronger foundation for yourself. And without getting too much into details, let's go with the first card that represents the overall energies. So what I'm going to do with these cards, I'm going to hold this for you, and so that you can get an intuitive prompting of what it might mean to you, and then I will tune into the card and give you what my interpretation is. Always remember that just because I have an interpretation does not mean that your interpretation is the wrong one. This is purely intuition here. So as you'll see, there's no numbers, no names. Perfect. Beautiful. So there's no names, no numbers, no letters, no words. It is purely an image that evokes a certain intuitive prompting. So notice what comes up for you when you look at this card. And they're not positive or negative. It's whatever association you give them. And notice what resonates with you, what comes up for you. As I told some of the other signs, this is a bit of an exercise for those of you who are wanting to be a little bit more in tune with your intuition. The very first thing that comes to you is more often than not your intuition. Anything after that gets to your head or from your head, and it is often or more often than not a product of your logic, of your critical thinking, also your fears. So the very first thing that comes up is usually the intuition part. When I look at this card, I feel and hear the words new beginnings. When I connect with this card, to me, this is a lady that is at her raw state, literally giving birth to the world. So to possibilities. Some of you may see it as a diamond, diamond that is brilliant and shining. Well, whatever interpretation you have, what I feel is that she is giving birth to something new and something exciting. She is in a state of vulnerability, and she is allowing the state of vulnerability to produce or bring forth things that she has been waiting for. Now, whether it's a she or a he makes no difference. When I say I'm actually saying it's you, but that's kind of how I interpret things. So sounds like the month, and again, I'm seeing the number 4. So most definitely the month of March for many of you is a month of expansion, which is also marked with adventure. Well, if you are expanding, if you're giving birth to new ideas, if you're giving birth to something you have been working on for quite some time, it sure is going to be adventurous. I also feel the month of March is a month of beginning new structures in order again to set forth a brand new foundation for your new baby, for your new project, for the thing that you are birthing. I also hear that this is precisely the right time to give birth to this new project or idea. So whatever it is that you are dealing with in the month of March seems to be surrounded by the energy of newness, of expansion. End of March, or March 20 or 21st is spring. So we are turning the page into a different, oh, I lost the train of thought. Season, thank you. And whatever it is the right time. Whatever you're working on, whether it's a relationship, whether it's a project, work project, anything that you are looking at birthing. It could also be some of you are going to give birth in the month of March, for sure. And I'm going to go to the next card. So that seems to be the overall energy. Beautiful, light, expansive, and also I hear all encompassing. The next card represents any possible obstacles that might come up. So again, I'm going to hold the card for you and see what comes up for you. There's a lot of green in this card, which you can actually see on this screen. Some colors are not depicted quite nicely in through the screen. So whatever comes to you as the first thing that you see and comes up to you, that's usually your intuition. When I tune into this card, I actually don't see this as an obstacle. I see this as an opportunity to expand. So even though it's supposed to represent obstacle, it is in this case more of an opportunity. And it is an opportunity of expansion. So you will definitely be dealing with something that is in the process of expansion. I hear the words, the new you, the inner you, the brand new inner you, something of that sort and of that nature. And again, I hear the words brand new foundations. I also hear the words leaving the old behind, putting the old to rest. Death of the old. So as we give birth, you've heard the term death and rebirth, and I don't mean death in a physical form. I mean situational, or our inner self. So yeah, when I connect with this card, there's a lot of healing here. There's an opportunities to heal past wounds, to heal past relationships, or past wounds surrounding relationships. Some of you will be healing a lot of old beliefs / wounds from your past, from your childhood. I see the number 7. Some of you will be dealing with things that happened to you around the age of 7 or 7 years ago. There's definitely a lot of healing. Some of you have gone through a trauma or have had trauma in your life. And I hear the word, this is early years. For some of you as early as 5, some of you as early as 3. I hear some of you have experienced someone left, either because parents left, they left you, someone passed. So there is a feeling here of, I want to say a little bit abandonment. Yes, I want to say that. And because of it, it created quite a bit of instability in the very core of who you are. But it looks and feels to me like you have been working on this for quite some time, for those of you who this is going to make sense to. And most definitely the month of March seems to be, it seems to be marking a brand new beginning for you on many, many levels. I see the number for the sign for money. For some of you, you will actually either become pregnant or you will have a brand new baby, which is also the birth card. Some of you will be nurturing something that is brand new, and this could be a physical form or it could be a project. Some of you, I hear the word puppy, so some of you are bringing home a new addition, an animal, a pet, a puppy, a pet of some sort. So a lot of opportunities here for new growth, new beginnings, emotional freedom, emotional expression, emotional uplifting. So there's no obstacles here for most of you. It's opportunities. And it's tied with this new birthing. Whatever it is that you've been working on, it is now ready to be given birth to. Whether it's a physical form, human form, or metaphoric, and it is a project, your essence, the changes you have been working on yourself, anything of that nature. For some of you, it's work for sure. Some of you will be birthing a brand new relationship with somebody or yourself, or both. So definitely a lot of light and healing energy in the month of March for you, which is beautiful. The next card is representing any actions you might need to take. And again, I'm going to hold, it's very interesting. I mean, I shuffled, I think there's 70 cards. I think I have to check. And I shuffle probably for about a minute until my guide asks me to stop. And these cards, same cards, seem to be coming up over and over and over. And that tells me that there is definitely something in the month of March that is energetically connecting all of us in similar ways. So when you look at this card here, again, notice what comes to you when you see it. The very first thing that comes to you is usually your intuition. Anything after that tends to be your logic and your ego and fears. And then I'm going to connect with this card. And when I look at this card, the very first thing I hear is overwhelmed. Okay, now if you are birthing a brand new project, if you are in the beginning, in the middle of bringing something brand new, there is a chance that you might feel overwhelmed. And well, actually they're saying here, there will be moments where you will feel quite overwhelmed because you do not know, or you will not know what to do with it all. And it has to do with this expansion, with giving this birth to whatever this is. Well, it's definitely an adventure. It's definitely an adventure here. And so let me just see what actions we need to take. I actually hear the words patience, patience, patience. And when I connect to this card, I feel like there's something on top of me, like something is limiting me. And however, when I look at the colors, some of those colors are very high vibrating. They're turquoise, which is a high vibration color. I see this color as crown chakra, throat, and up. So high vibration. But I also see the color orange, which connects with me to my second chakra. So for some of you, you will be starting a brand new relationship. Okay, and it might stir up some old stuff from the past. And again, I hear the word abandonment. So if you are going to start a brand new relationship, and you have felt abandoned in the past, or you were abandoned in the past, somebody left or somebody left you, be prepared that this will come up for you. Having said that, what I hear, the message I hear is embrace the old, but don't let it define you. In other words, acknowledge what is happening, but don't let it define you. There is a difference. There's a huge difference. And the reason being is, he says, when we acknowledge our fears, we then stop fighting them. And when we fight our fears, they grow stronger because it creates this thing called resistance. When we constantly fight, it's like fighting the current of the river. You can't fight the current of the river. You can put a boulder, but eventually the water is going to go over it because the water has its own rhythm. So if you feel overwhelmed and if stuff comes up because of what you're experiencing, and you're going on an adventure, so there's nothing bad here, but some stuff will come up. You will be triggered, or there's a potential for you to be triggered. It is stuff from the past. It is in a process of clearing. Acknowledge it's there, but don't become frozen by it. And he says, do not interpret anymore, because for those of you who this must make sense, or who this is supposed to be for, you will get it right away. And I hear that from you all the time. Those of you who don't resonate with this message, you won't. And it just may not be for you this month, which is perfectly okay. Or look at your other signs. Now, the next card represents outcome or advice. And I'm actually asking him, is it outcome or advice he wants me to talk about? And he says actually the word advice. So I feel like we've already been given advice. So let's go with the word advice. Again, I'm going to... Same card. My gosh, this is so strange. And I've been doing these readings over several days. They're not even just on one day. So probably the card that came up in another reading is one of your other signs. So it will be interesting for you to look at your other signs. When I look at this card here, it shows me a person who is ready to fight. Notice the predominant colors here are orange and red, orange and yellow. That's your second and third chakra. And you may interpret this differently. It's absolutely okay. There's no right or wrong. This is how I am being asked to portray this card with a message. And on one hand, you're ready to receive. You're holding your hand up. But on the other hand, you have a weapon here ready to charge, to fight. So the message here is that particularly if you are getting to a brand new relationship and you might feel overwhelmed, you may because you will get overwhelmed based on your old fears, particularly those of you who have felt abandoned, you may have a tendency to sabotage a good thing. Now, this could be either in a relationship, in a romantic relationship. It could be in a workforce. It could be that you have lived most of your life believing you do not deserve subconsciously anything that is great. Not logically, subconsciously. And by looking at your history, what you have been attracting, you'll be able to tell pretty quickly what your belief system is, because your circumstances over a long period of time will show you a certain pattern. And the message here is, do not let the old wounds define you again. And I feel like you might have a bit of a moment where you freeze up. Old things come up, but remember, they're coming up to be cleared. The moment you have awareness of it is the moment where you can look at it and you can transform it. So if you are faced with something in the month of March where It's a brand new beginning. You're very excited, but then at the same time, it makes you feel fearful. And it could be as simple as it's too good to be true, or your doubts will come up because that's what you're used to, or your old conditioning will come up because you feel undeserving subconsciously because of what happened. Pay attention to your thoughts and also your actions. And I hear the word self-sabotage. So whatever situation you're going to find yourself in, it shows you're going to feel overwhelmed, slightly overwhelmed. Sometimes when we have a good thing and we're not used to a good thing, and eventually when it comes to us, it's like, what do we do with it? Because we're not used to it. It's not the norm. It's actually a normal response, very, very normal response. It's all subconscious. So because you'll be dealing with something in the month of March that will potentially overwhelm you, pay attention that you don't sabotage a good thing. Because what I'm hearing here is this is what you asked for. And this could be job, money, relationship, new home, new garden. I don't know. Pretty hard to be overwhelmed by a new garden, but that I just kind of threw that in there as a, a funny point. Anything that has the potential to overwhelm you, notice what comes up and pay attention to your feelings, because your feelings will tell you a lot about what is going on within you. And feeling is just that. There is no such thing as right or wrong feeling, good or bad. It doesn't exist. Feeling is an emotion that allows you to understand where you're at any given moment. If anybody tells you you shouldn't feel this or that, just tune them out. What you do with the feeling, that's the difference. But feeling something is just your body's, your soul's way of letting you go where you're at any given moment. So point here is listen to your feelings and then examine your feelings to deeply understand why you feel the way you do. And what you'll notice more often than not is that those feelings stem from something in the past that used to haunt you. Okay, once that is brought up to surface, it can be transformed and left in the past. And that's why he says the word adventure, because that is when we go through a change of perception, and when we go through an internal change, it's most definitely an adventure. And I think I'm going to stop at that. He showed me the number 7. I know Scorpio is not born in July, but the number 7 is coming up. So 7 or July, maybe you're connected to the number 7. Maybe your life path is a number 7, or the number 7 somehow means something to you. In addition, number 7 to me as a symbol signifies mastering an aspect of you that has been quote unquote haunting you for quite some time. So sounds like to me in the month of March, there is a potential for you to master something that's been bugging you, or it's been with you for quite some time. It has to do with relationships. I would say for the most part romantic relationships or close relationships, and some is work relationship. Yes, finances. But definitely a possibility here of tremendous positive change because of change of perception. And with that, he's asking me to end it because the video is getting too long. I hope this makes sense to you. Of course, this is a general reading, so it will not make sense to all of you. These messages are deeper messages. They're not surface messages. So these messages can apply to virtually any situation in anyone's life. It's just a matter of you recognizing the depth of the message, and if it doesn't make sense, it doesn't make sense. It's just not for you. But I would encourage you to listen to all your other signs, your moon, sun, and rising, because those will offer you a greater picture, particularly if the same card shows up. That would be very interesting. If, of course, you would like the private session, that information is down below for you, and I would be absolutely honored. Thank you so much for watching, liking, subscribing, and sharing. As always, I would never do this if it wasn't for you. Thank you so much, and I am humbled by you or by your presence in my life. I wish you the best month of March. Looks like a great month, and I look forward to seeing you again in April. Take care.